Unemployed and Afraid acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on and of the land where you, the listener, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and extend our respect to any First Nations, Aboriginal, and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today, acknowledging that this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Welcome to Unemployed and Afraid, a podcast that explores the glorious mess of building your own business with the people doing it. I'm your host and fellow business builder, Kim Curtin. Thank you for being here. Let's get into some good, honest, small business chat. Hello, listener. We do love some small business chat, don't we? This is episode number 91 today. I don't usually count episodes, but it just jumped out at me when I was getting myself organized and I was like, whoa, that's a few episodes. We're so lucky to be able to explore the inner workings of the brave humans building their businesses at all levels of the journey in so many amazing industries. And of course, all of the chaos that comes with figuring it all out. My guest today, Boushra Nicola, aka Miss B, left me feeling super inspired to crack on with it and make my business dreams happen by just getting stuck into it. And I know she'll do the same for you. In this episode, you'll hear us chat about the role your previous work environment plays in the creation of your own business, carving out your own business path alongside a somewhat structured industry in teaching, how reaching out for a bit of support to get yourself started can push you so much further than you might expect, growing from the ground up, learning to bring someone else into the business that you've so lovingly built, the power of embracing a marketing tool that at first thought you absolutely don't want to do, hello, video/reels, and finding the sweet spot of providing real value to others while feeling a sense of financial freedom and time freedom and flexibility. One of my favorite parts of this episode, because there are loads, is that we even get to reference The Simpsons, which is just IMO, the greatest resource of moment descriptions for me as a millennial. So without further excitement from me, let's get into the chat. I'm here with Boushra Nicola, aka Miss B, teacher and director of Learn with Miss B, which is a premium level tutoring service providing the best opportunities for students to succeed. Learn with Miss B has grown from learning packs to support parents and students at home to a thriving business helping over 200 students with a team of 4 other tutors joining the team. Through her learning portal, packs, flashcards, and stationery, Boushra and her team have helped so many young minds transform their learning and progression. Diving headfirst into creating this business, which is followed by thousands online, I'm sure has not been easy, let alone with small people in tow. Boushra, I cannot wait to hear your story. Welcome to Unemployed and Afraid.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you for sharing with me that your beautiful name means good news. I think that is just fantastic. So we're all going to have a little good news in our ears today. Let me get started with a nice fun one for you. How would your best friend describe you?
I'm just away with my friends for the weekend, something I can think about all of our deep and meaningful conversations. I guess they would say that I'm really organized because we've got a trip planned and I pulled out my laptop on this getaway and they were like, we're not going to discuss it now. And I said, it's okay, I'll just start the Google Doc. And they were like, okay, fine. So it's really organized and I like to have a plan for things. So that's definitely one way that one of my best friends would describe me. Another one is, I don't know how to word this in a way that's positive, but impulsive in a positive way. So I like to just, if I think about something, I'll do it. I guess not impulsive in a way where I make the wrong decision. It's more if I need to take a risk, I have an idea, then I'll jump on it and I'll get it done. I tell my friends not to bring up if they've got business ideas in front of me because I will go all in and I will push them and they'll be like, yes, do it. You need to do this and this. And I'll really be there. And I'm like, don't bring it up to me if you're not, because I will push you and I'll be like, yes, you should do it. And I'll really motivate you. So I guess impulsive, I don't know if there's a positive word for impulsive, but that's another way that I guess my best friends would describe me.
I love that one. And that's something I can really relate to, that impulsiveness. And we will learn if there is a more positive connotation to it, because I think it's a wonderful attribute to have. I'm quite the same as you. Someone will say, I've got this thing. And I'm like, no, you need now. Let's go on to ASIC. Let's get this domain name. Let's make this happen. So I'm very here for that. I think sometimes we all need that energy in our lives to push things along, because so many of us have ideas and feel like we have to wait until the perfect time, the perfect amount of money, the perfect amount of headspace, the perfect plan to make it happen, but it just doesn't happen until you start. Yes, I'm 100% here for that, and I love that. Let me go back a little bit. So I want to go before Learn with Miss B was a thing and a living, breathing business in your world. Who were you?
Who was I? I was a teacher. I graduated from uni and I was super motivated to get into the classroom and just be the best teacher that I could be. So I was staying up late nights making resources. I loved my classroom to look nice and perfect and organized. I wouldn't say perfect so much, like I didn't expect it to stay perfect, but I liked it to have some sort of order. And I was just super motivated. I really had lots and lots of ideas when it came to learning or being in the classroom. I just wanted to do everything. And I was willing to learn about a new concept, new methods of teaching. So I started out at this school, small school, and I started out teaching prep students. And I love teaching. But as the years went on, I felt like I wasn't motivated as I used to be. And we used to always make this comment about graduate teachers. So if we had a graduate teacher join our team, would make a comment like, oh, she's a grad, because she was really motivated to make new resources, things that we felt like that was too time consuming. I remember thinking back and thinking, I used to be that person. I used to stay up and make these resources. And yes, I guess sometimes people say, oh, it's unnecessary, but I remember having that motivation to just do what I can to make it engaging for students or make learning fun and make kids want to really motivated to learn. But as the years went on, I guess that started to drop away from me, I guess maybe because of the school environment. And then I fell pregnant after 3 years. So I taught for 3 years, fell pregnant and decided that that wasn't the right school for me. So I didn't want to go back. And I just decided I was going to resign after my maternity leave was up. I gave them that notice. And then another opportunity came up, even though I really felt like schools weren't really, I just thought that's what I had to do. I just thought I graduated as a teacher and there was no other option for me. The only options I had was either to do part-time work or CRT, which is casual relief teaching. And CRT is pretty good money. So, it's not a consistent, it's casual. So it's not consistent income, but when you do work a day, it's pretty good money. That was another option for me. But I went back right into it full time when my son was 5 months. And I just thought I'd stay working back at another school and trying it out. Again, really toxic. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of different dynamics in the team. I was working with preps again, which is the first year of school for kids in Victoria. And it was just a toxic environment. So my moods were like up and down. I was getting a bit depressed. And I just thought, I'm limited in what I want to do here. I'm limited in how I'm teaching. If I did bring up a new, like, for example, using Google Doc, I was like, let's just put it on a Google Doc. And the team leader was like, no, we don't use that. I'm like, yeah, but you're just sending emails back and forth. So it wasn't open. I'm really tech savvy. So just my ideas were just getting shut down. So I felt like I was just going back to basics and I wasn't thriving as a teacher. I was just trying to think of the word, the best word. And I just remember a Simpsons episode where Lisa says, am I dumbing? I know it's not a real word, but she says,
I love that. I love a Simpsons reference so much. I think it's a first on this podcast, and I'm so here for it because The Simpsons is always my place to go. So yes, and I know the exact episode you're talking about.
yes. So I felt like that was me. I felt like I was just, oh my God, I don't know what to do for this lesson. I don't know. What should we do? And I felt like this isn't me. I was full of ideas. What happened to me? What happened to my love of teaching? At the end of that year, I decided to apply for the government school system because I was in independent schools previously. I thought I'd try it out because I've heard really good things. And that's where I did most of my placements and I really enjoyed it. I got accepted, which was really exciting because the interviews to get into a government school are very different to independent schools. Independent schools, it's more of a conversation. They ask you lots of questions, but there's no preparation. Whereas the government schools give you 5 questions. So they all do the same thing. and I had to really prepare for it. Like I had a whole page of responses because I had friends apply and I was told you need to have all this information because all the questions are the same, they're just reworded. And my husband, I remember my husband looking at me and saying, "You're going to an interview with all these notes? Are you sure that's a good look?" He's never seen anything like it. And I said, no, you have to do this to get into these schools. Trust me. And yeah, when I went in, so I had 8 pages of like different questions and then like notes for these questions. And when you go into the interview, you look at the questions and you look at keywords. And I had my highlighters there. So you'd highlight the question and the heading on my notes because I wrote notes about curriculum, I wrote notes about behavior, I wrote notes about communication or team building. So I had headings and I highlighted question 1. I was like, all right, that's the pink one, put it together. So when I went into the interview, because you get 10 minutes to prepare. So that's what I did in the prep time. And yeah, I went in and it was a full on interview, but they were really impressed with my responses because I just had they were color coded. But yeah, got into that school and I was really excited, resigned from my previous job. And yeah, then that was in 2020. So I didn't really get a full year there because we were working from home for quite a bit of it. Just there wasn't a lot of time for me to get used to this school environment, working from home and then getting used to the way that they plan, the way that they do their planners, the way that everyone works together in a team. It's a lot. It's fantastic school, really good school, but I feel like I needed more time just to, I guess, from going from being really motivated and then going into schools where I was getting shut down, there was a lot of anxiety there. So in meetings at this school, this government school, I felt really anxious to respond because I was scared to say the wrong thing. So that sort of made me feel like I didn't contribute. And then there was that pressure to contribute. So I'd have a friend say this. And I'm like, why? I don't want to say that. But you have to contribute because then it seemed like I wasn't listening. I was, but I was taking a lot in and I feel like I didn't have that enough time to take things in to be able to contribute. And so I wasn't really enjoying it, I guess, coming back into schools face-to-face learning. I was a bit up and down. So I decided to reach out to Meet the Mentors, who the year before that, so in 2019, I went to one of their seminars and they spoke about how they started their businesses and they shared really inspiring stories. So I thought I'd reach out to them and see, why don't I go ahead with this, making a learning pack? I always want to make a learning pack. This is midway, probably about just before the new financial year in 2020. So about June, July, I reached out and I said, look, can I just do the VIP full day with you guys and let's see, where it goes? Because I have an idea. And they said, all you need is an idea. You don't have to have anything. You don't have to have a website or a business page or anything. Let's just get into it. Then we had a full day, a meeting with them in July 2020, planned out. They had a lot of really good ideas on how I can bring this learning pack, which you can see there, bring it to life. And they really helped me with suppliers and what to do. And it was a really great day. I still remember this day. My sister came along. I hadn't slept the night before because, of course, my son was up all night just before a big day, standard. But I'd made it. I got there. And yeah, we planned it all out. And I started, like I said, I'm impulsive. So I was contacting suppliers that day, trying to get the wheels in motion. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I had a learning pack ready to go to put live. They set up the website for me on Shopify. They helped me with the logo. They helped me with a lot of things because we all had a laptop then. We all worked as a team. My sister was on my phone updating my Instagram, which I had 300 followers at the time, just sharing teaching stuff. And so we were all working together that day. And it was a fantastic day. And yeah, then I guess I started with the learning packs and I started to sell them. I started off using my son's change table because we were no longer using it for a change table. So I was like, this is a great shelving system. So I had tubs in there, like clear acrylic ones, and I had every part of the learning pack on there. And then at the top, we just packed orders on there. So I was doing it from home. So yeah, that's how it started, like that.
That's an incredible amount of energy to put behind something. I think finding those people who can help you and push you through, like similarly how you describe yourself up front or how your best friend would describe you, someone who gets in there and helps you going. We do all need that. I think it's wonderful that you found that space you could go into and be like, okay, what's the step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And how can everybody contribute in that? That sounds like a really exciting experience. And where did it go from there? So starting to build, you're starting to sell, guessing you're still balancing quite a lot at this stage. What started to shift for you and what made you decide to jump in full time?
So I think a lot of it had to do with lockdown, just that affected my mental health a lot, which I'm sure it affected a lot of people. But for myself, I felt like going back into the school, I could pack orders, I could get help working from home, but I also didn't like the fact that I was trying to balance two things, that I had to put my heart into both. And I didn't like that. I felt like I was neglecting my students, and I didn't want to do that, even though I may not have been neglecting them. I just felt like the challenge of looking after my son, we hardly sent him to care during that period. So looking after my son, trying to balance my learning packs, making sure orders were going out on time. Although I did have help, I did hire someone like a family friend, and then I had my sister help me. And then trying to get the hang of this school, that they were an IB school. It's an inquiry approach. So it's very open-ended. So you have to plan everything on your own. I was used to having a term planner where you pulled things out, or it was done for you because there was a lot of control. This was like my style of a school, where less controlling, I guess open-ended, but it was harder because you have to put more work into it, a lot more time consuming. So I felt like trying to juggle everything was a lot, and I had to think, what is it that I want to do more? We had just bought a house in April 2020. We settled in July. So that's when I started the learning packs. So that's why I guess that change table is great, because we could just shuffle everything around and move it all around when we moved in. And just to add, we moved into a house that we're still in the process of renovating, but a really old house. It was built in the 1900s. Trying to go from a rental that was like all renovated, ducted heating, into this house that we had to still work on and get it ready to make it livable was a huge juggle. So I was juggling so much at the time. And towards the end of the year, I just thought, this is a lot. So the position I had was a maternity leave position, and I had to reapply for my job. And then it hit me. It just hit me. I remember driving thinking, okay, I'm a bit shocked. I didn't know that I was going to have to reapply for this job. What am I going to do? Maybe I'll ask to work part-time. Maybe I'll do that. A lot of mums do that. And a lot of people were shocked that, like, people at the school that were mums, no one worked full-time. I was the only one at this school working full-time that had a child. So they're like, we don't know how you do it. We don't know how you do it. And on top of that, I was running a business on the side. And yeah, I was like, oh, maybe this is my opportunity to go part-time, because it seems like that's what everyone's doing. And I thought, yeah, I'll go part-time. And I was driving around having a think. We live near the beach. So I used to do this beach drive on my lunch break just to change up the scenery. And I remember just thinking, hold on, what if I just don't apply? And then I had other options. I thought maybe I'll apply at another school. And I was like, maybe you can open up your own thing. And that just came to me, and I was like, I don't know. But it was a really quick turnaround. I remember searching up the commercial real estate and thinking, okay, this is okay. This is a reasonably priced rental. I remember finding the first place I found is this place here. I inquired about it, applied for it. I spoke with my husband. We went fishing, which is one of the activities that you could do back then. And we went fishing, and I said, look, I know it's a big risk because we have a home loan. It's our first year with this home loan, but I just feel like I'll be a lot happier. I feel like it's my dream, and it's always been a dream, as though it could never happen. That's how it used to feel. So going back to those thoughts back then, I was like, why is it a dream? Why does it have to be a dream? Why can't it happen? And I thought, I can make it happen. I have to make it happen. So I remember speaking to friends. I spoke to a friend. She gave me this amazing quote. I can't remember it right now, but it was something along the lines of, you have to take that risk. You have to take that leap. Otherwise, you'll never know. You'll never know what can happen. So you just have to do it, and you have to go all in. And yeah, when I found the rental, and he said, if it doesn't work, at least you know you can do CRT work. And I thought, that's the beauty of being a teacher, that I can go do casual relief work. Even if I did that full time, can make enough money to just cover everything that we need to cover, or I can make my full-time wage that I'm getting now, but more on a, I guess, more flexible employment. Anyway, so yeah, we did that. I applied for the lease. I got approved, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm approved. This is happening. And I had to set it all up. So decided to set it up, and then just decided I'm not going to apply for a job. This is going to be something I will do full time.
Wow, that must have been an exhilarating, I'm guessing, few weeks, and given the speed that you move at, an exhilarating few weeks of thinking about what's going to come next. Do you think at that stage, having seen the pack start to move organically and starting to sell, did that give you the financial confidence that you needed, that if I had more time, I could build this up and I could sell more? Or was there something else that was giving you the confidence there financially at that stage that this could be a risk worth taking?
With the learning packs, they were a premium price as well. So I wasn't selling them, I guess, like hotcakes. They were selling, but I wasn't making all this money just from the learning pack. So I knew I could definitely sell more, having more time, but I also want to introduce other things like services. So I've always done tutoring from home. People would come, they'd just pay cash. And if I should be saying this on this podcast,
Tax office, do not listen.
yeah, it was just something that I did on the side, and because there was need. So it wasn't that I was advertising a lot. It was that it was word of mouth and people wanted me to teach their kids. So I had 6 students on a Saturday that would come weekly. And I thought maybe I could offer them to come after this huge break, because we couldn't do any face-to-face teaching. After this huge break, I could offer them that I will either be doing it from home where we moved or from another space. I hadn't decided just yet. And then once I had the space, I said, as of January, we're going to be operating from Williamstown in the new studio. And they were curious, oh, where is this? What's this place? But then on my Instagram, I started just to share, I'll just say, all right, tutoring is now open this and this day or this and this day. And I started to just share a little bit more, and I was getting booked out because I had the website there. So I just needed to find the app that gave people options to purchase a session. And I was charging for 10 sessions up front, which we still do. And yeah, people were booking, and I was like to Chris, I haven't even opened, I haven't even set up the space, and I'm getting booked out. Once I shared the space, I was getting so many inquiries, had a wait list of 200 people. We couldn't service that many people at the time. It was just me. And at the time as well, I was told, hire someone, have someone help you. And I said, no, people just want me. People just want me. I don't think that's going to work. I can't trust anyone. Yeah, but the income from the tutoring sessions and the group school readiness sessions was definitely enough to just secure that financial support to know that, yep, this can just get bigger and bigger. At the time, though, I didn't have anyone coaching me at the time or giving me that support in terms of what direction I should take it in. And I liked that because I was able to see what I wanted, what was working for me, and knowing what isn't working. Like, what can I change the following year or in the next 6 months? So I know I overbooked myself when I first opened, and that was a lot, but it was enough to just say, okay, I can keep this going. I don't need to do CRT work. And I had no time to be doing CRT work.
That's very exciting. It would have been fun to see that momentum that starts to come behind something when you know that you should go into it. There's something here, starting to see that momentum or that response from the universe, or in this instance, response from parents and students coming back to support you in that. You touched there on time and your ability to be able to service and your attention to how you like to work and how people then want to have you give them that experience. What shifted to give you the confidence to take on other team members?
So it started, my first year was 2021. I fell pregnant in March. So when I found out, I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? I know that with my first son, Adam, I was sick the entire time. So I don't know if I had HG, but I think it was just awful. I was sick the whole pregnancy, and I was really scared that was going to happen again. And I was like, oh no, I feel fine. I feel good. And then after 6 weeks, week 6 hit, and I wanted to crawl into a little hole. I was so sick and remained sick the whole pregnancy. So just feeling yuck. And everyone would say, oh, you look good. You look so good pregnant. And I'm like, I absolutely hate it just because of how sick I feel. So it's not so much the whole pregnancy, it's just feeling sick and feeling like I had the worst taste in my mouth the whole pregnancy. And I don't know if you've got to experience it to know what that's like, because it's so awful. You can't do anything. And I still don't understand how a taste in the mouth can like stop you from moving or working. Like, people think, oh, is that all? But honestly, it's just the worst feeling. So I was, okay, I needed to hire someone at this point to get them used to the space, get them used to my approach. And it's not just about teaching. It's not about what you learn at uni. It's also about this nurturing, calm approach and adapting to different types of learners and getting to know them, so that way you can teach them best in the way that they learn best. And not everyone can do that. Not everyone that graduates from a teaching degree has the capability of doing this. So I really struggle even till now to find the right fit. And I'm glad I've got everyone that works for me now is the right fit. But at the time, I was open to hiring. I put out an ad on Instagram. So don't worry about Seek, people, I'm telling you. I've only ever used Instagram. I am interested in using LinkedIn though, but haven't gotten down that path yet. But used Instagram, put out an ad, and I had somebody reach out who was sister was my mentor when I was at uni. So I was keen to meet this girl and met her, and she was amazing. She was just doing admin for me at the time, helping me out. It was really hard to do an interview though, feeling so sick and just like having to always sip a smoothie or something that would help that taste in my mouth. So that was really hard. I had to say, look, I'm pregnant. I had to say it because you just know, you just think, what is wrong with this girl? So yeah, hired this girl. She was awesome. And she worked with me for the whole year that I was pregnant and a few months after I had my little one. So then I realized, okay, I guess people are more open. If they trust me, they'll trust who I hire. So I still am very careful and cautious about that because I never ever want my business. I don't want anyone to ever say, oh, it was really great, but then she hired a huge team and grew and they're not that great. I never want people to say that. And an example I'll give you of this is this makeup company in New South Wales. I'm not going to say who it is, but amazing makeup artist, really amazing. Got really big and opened up some different studios. When I went to a wedding in New South Wales, I thought, she's the best. I'm going to go to one of her salons. So I went there and went in, and the girls were just gossiping the whole time. And I felt like it was really unprofessional. And I didn't like my makeup. I'm really fussy though, but I didn't like it. Like, it was nice, but it wasn't that standard that I thought it would be at. And I have an amazing makeup artist in Victoria. So I just thought this would be at that level and I would get that level of service. And I didn't. And I just kept thinking, because I had my business at the time, I just kept thinking, I don't ever want people to say that about my business. So that's why I'm so fussy with who I hire and who I bring to the team. And I like to nurture and look after my staff. So I'm great with them. I'm really flexible as long as I can see that they're putting in that time, they're putting in that effort, and they're putting in that work with the students. And I definitely do see it. Hiring my first employee just opened my eyes to thinking, okay, there are people like that out there that have that nurturing approach, that are open-minded, that don't just think I'll just print off 500 worksheets and just going to do the same thing with every student, because there are people like that out there. I don't want negative feedback from parents either. That just opened my eyes thinking, okay, I can do this. I can hire more people. And I have.
That's brilliant. And sometimes you need to do it and go through the process to see that it can work. And I think naturally we lead into any of these big changes with the fears about what could go wrong with these businesses that we build. They're like our children. We're protective over them and want to make sure that they really shine. I think it does sometimes just take that step in the right direction to go, oh, okay, hang on. I know what I want. Let's attract that in. Let's build that in and let it prove to me that it can work. I think that I can imagine that would have been a bit of a scary step though. I'm really interested in how you market your business, what's worked for you, and when it has worked for you, what the type of response has been like.
So definitely Instagram. Instagram is my main marketing tool. I absolutely love using Instagram. I've had the help of my amazing coach, Alicia from the Social Impact.
Love her. She's been on this podcast. Big fan of Alicia. She's a good egg.
I've worked with her since I started. So 2020, I reached out to her and just inquired and thought, if I work with anyone for my Instagram or my marketing, it's going to be Alicia. And I've been working with her ever since. So we're still working together on an exciting secret new project too. So we're still working together. And I think I've learned so much from her in terms of using Instagram, but a lot of other things. But Instagram definitely is my main marketing tool. And Reels have just been, and when Alicia first mentioned Reels to me, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk and I don't want to dance. And not that I do a lot of dancing. I don't want to do a video. And I really was really hesitant to do it. But now, last week I posted 3 reels and I haven't posted in probably 6 weeks. I just took a big break. I just needed some time just to remotivate myself, find my direction. So I've just let it go. And I thought, I'm not just going to post for the sake of posting. I'm just going to leave it. And when I'm ready to jump back in, I will. And I've got screenshots of my insights just after posting 3 reels last week. It just skyrocketed. So I just think the power of that, the power of Instagram marketing, I think a lot of people underestimate it or just think, but I don't want to do it. But there's just so much power in it. And yeah, I don't really do Google ads. I have just, after 3 years, gotten my email marketing up to scratch. I've gotten that sorted out. But otherwise, yeah, it's definitely Instagram. Like, I can go on and on about it, and it's a whole other world. Like, there's just so much to know about it. so many mistakes people make. I can just stands out to me sometimes because I've just learnt so much. So if any of my friends want to start an Instagram page, the first thing they say is, oh, but I don't want to do videos. And I'm like, but you have to. You say that now, but it's just so good. It just brings such a different light to your business, and people just see you in a different way because they know who you are. And a lot of times when I go to buy something from a business, I'm like, but who is it? Who's behind this brand? I just want to know. I feel more comfortable. I don't know why. I think I naturally just feel that way.
I think we underestimate that people buy people. And it is a powerful tool. I can understand I'm very comfortable behind the microphone, but put me in front of a camera and I'm like, why do I look like that? What's weird? Why can't I speak? What's with this weird background? And so I can understand the feelings of hesitancy, and I'm on that journey as well of working my way past that to get the confidence. I think editing for me is like the world's most painful thing. So editing videos, and I'm a real in the moment person. I'm like, let me pick up the phone and do like a piece to camera talking head thing real quick. If I've got an idea I want to get out, but if I have to put any more effort into it than that, I get lost and I get distracted, but I'm working through that. I agree with you. I really appreciate the power in a great video.
I think when I first started, I would record a story and look at it, listen to it like 500 times and, oh, no, I don't want to post this. Whereas now I have that confidence to just say what I want to say, press post and just let it go. Obviously on stories, I don't do much editing because it's a 24-hour thing. So not so worried about that. But I've gone to the point where, when it comes to reels, I can probably film and edit one in 10, 15 minutes.
Whew, I love that.
Yeah, but I've done a lot of courses and done a lot of work to get to that point. So it doesn't just come easily.
Yeah, like anything, we've got to work at it. We've got to practice it. I totally agree. We talked a little bit about your organizational skills, your productivity. I've definitely noticed that as a theme coming through, that you are very focused and organized. So can you take me through what a typical day might look like for you?
So morning routine, I do the same thing every morning just because I feel like now that I've got 2 kids, I really had to find my feet with 2 kids and just being able to manage everything mentally. My kids are up by 6:30. So I go through the whole routine. I open up every single blind in the house, make all the beds because I can't leave the beds undone. Do that, get the kids ready, get their bags all out. So I always go out, pop the bags in the car. And before we leave, it always turn Milton on. Milton is our RoboVac. So that is a great help. So we're out of the car, do my drop-offs, and then straight into the studio. I turn on the diffusers. They have to go on. And so it's like this one thing that I would do straight away. Make sure the diffusers are on. We've got our Indota signature blend happening. It's beautiful. Turn on, we have calming, relaxing music. We've got a few different playlists that we just have on, which is a non-negotiable. My team will tell you that. So I walk in, I'm like, why's the music on? And just write up a to-do list. So you can see mine's right there. So I just like to pen to paper. So I've got ones on my phone, but I love writing down my to-do list for the day. So depending on what I've booked in for the day, whether I've got students, I'm back to back on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. So it's just from the get-go, I've got students coming in and out one-on-one. And then on a Thursday morning, I have a group session that I run. But Mondays, I like to spend most of the morning just doing my admin, doing all emails and that sort of thing, just normal business admin. And then I just go through the schedule, go through our new portal that we've got up and running. So just make sure if there's any cancellations or changes that I fill them in. And then I look at my teams for the week and I make sure that their sessions are all filled in. With children, you get cancellations. So we try and fill in people that are on the wait list or people that are just waiting for an additional spot. I try to fill them in, filling in those gaps. And I love doing that. It's okay, get you this student in. So that's basically what I do. And then I do orders as well, but I've got my sister helping me again. So she's back with the business. I'm just like, I need you to do it. It gets a little bit hard to just manage everything. Yeah, I'll do some orders if I need to. But it's not that exciting. But I also look at my marketing and see if I need to film any reels. So I try to post 3 reels a week. That's like my goal for the week is to post 3 on whichever days. And I've got some behind the scenes work that I'm doing on a new project. When I've got the time, I get stuck into that too.
Amazing. And do you feel like there's something in particular that keeps you motivated for the work that you do?
The freedom, just the financial freedom that I guess I have now. I don't know if I should be saying that, but it's just something that I guess I've never ever really spoken about. But I guess being able to work out how much I want to make in a week or how much time off I can have. But in saying that, I work a lot. I don't put my laptop down. Ask my friends, always got my laptop. That's to hide it from me when we're away on the weekend. I went to sit down and I know I put my laptop on the couch and they're sitting on the couch. So I secretly, without asking them, looked under the couch and I'm like, oh, just leave it. I'm not going to ask them about it now. And then in the morning, I'm like frantically, because I wake up before everyone and I'm looking around for my laptop and I open this drawer and I'm like, oh, I didn't put it in there. So that they have to hide it from me because I'm constantly working. But I love, another thing that also motivates me is that I love what I do. So work isn't, oh, I have to go to work. And the amount of times I hear people saying, oh, I've got work tomorrow. I don't feel like that. That definitely motivates me. But also, yeah, knowing I can spend time with my kids and knowing I can drop my son off at kinder and then come to work. If I was working full time, there is no way I could do that. I'd have to take that time off. As a teacher, there's no way I could be dropping my son off unless he went to the same school that I worked at.
I'm really glad that you mentioned financial freedom and freedom in general. It's a huge motivator for me too. I think the ability to be able to be in control of what you earn. And that's not necessarily, people think, oh, I don't want to talk about money or and think that it comes with a desire for excess or to be rich and to talk about that. And I think often, I don't know if it's a female thing, but I think often we get a little bit, almost a bit sticky about it. But I'm so here for owning that. No, being in charge of what you earn and knowing that it comes back to you and what you create. It's something really empowering and really exciting. And it all ladders back to freedom, whether it's freedom of time, freedom to be able to be more creative in the work that you do because you can take more risks because your baseline financially is sorted. And yeah, naturally being able to physically be in control of how much work and finances is coming in. I just think it's a wonderful motivator and something very close to my heart as well. As it's the whole reason I went on this journey to work for myself is financial independence and that freedom to work on things that you've worked on that give you money. There's just no better satisfaction than being like, I made that, and not because I went somewhere and got money, which is great. Love to go places and get money, but to be like, this is my business and now it's giving me money is just the most sensational feeling. I love that. And I hope that you continue to own that because it's really exciting.
I forgot to mention one thing in regards to the motivator, and this is something that's really important. Getting a message from a parent, it always brings tears to my eyes. When I get a message from a parent and they say, I had one the other day, it was a voicemail recording this mum sent me, and she just said, we had the maternal health nurse check up, and as they do a lot of tests, not tests, but I guess a lot of checks. And she just said she's never seen a child make this huge turnaround in their development and their growth. And she said, we just have to thank you for that. And I just had to listen to it over and over again. And I was like sobbing, thinking, I can't believe that what I did, because I'm always thinking, am I even doing enough? But what I did and what the work I put in with this student has been noticed, not just by the parents, but by external services, and just seeing that. I just think, oh, I love this. I love this, because when you're a teacher at a school and you're not getting, I guess you're just getting, oh, you need to do this and you need to do this and you need to do this from, I guess, everybody, like the principal, the vice principal, just coming at you and saying, this isn't done and this isn't done and you need to do this. And you just want that recognition, and getting that recognition so often from parents is just, it's amazing. Just hearing them share that. And I love when parents can see the growth, because I can definitely see so much, like when I test them or when I have my notes, but when parents are recognizing their growth, it's so lovely.
That does sound really lovely. And I can understand. I've had a couple of messages recently about people in business needing a little bit of extra support and motivation and inspiration. And they've reached out with a message of thank you. And I can tell you it changes my entire week. So I completely understand that. And I think you've just touched there on the magic equation of being in charge of your own life, the work that you do, the freedom, and be able to provide value through that work as well is like the magic equation, I think, for so many of us and why we do what we do. So I love that. Where do you hope to see your business grow to?
I get asked a lot about opening up different studios. So I've got 2 studios at the moment, and it would be nice to open one more up. But like I said before, it's all about staff and working out the right fit and where they will be based. I guess sometimes with teaching, it's a high turnover. We haven't really had that. My current team has just been with me for a while, so it's really nice. But anyone new, I'm always a little bit hesitant. So I'm a little bit hesitant to do that. Although I've got so much interest, I'm a bit hesitant it's not something I want to do. I don't want to grow too big with, my studios, but I'd love one day to be able to renovate a space and have a center. So I'd love to, I guess that's one of my biggest dreams, to renovate a center and have my own. But I guess that's a really long-term goal because I guess we're happy with where we're at the moment. What I'm hoping to do and what I'm hoping to take the business is to have a membership for mums. And that's something that I'm working on at the moment. So having some sort of membership where I can really help mums and support them in the way that they teach their kids. So targeting a lot of people that are homeschooling, or also just wanting, there are mums out there that just want to help their kids, and not limited to dads as well, mainly for mums that, will share this space where we can work on helping them teach their kids, because a lot of mums feel like it's so confusing, or they feel just a little bit lost when the kids bring home homework or spelling words. And as a mum, when you see your child struggling, it's the worst thing. If you feel helpless, I know I do. If I feel like I can't help my child in a particular area, then, it's really disheartening. That's where I want to take the business. That's my vision for it right now.
So excited for you. You have shared so much with us today. And I really, as I said up front, was so excited to hear your story, because I love your energy around just seeing an opportunity, wanting more for your students, for yourself, and just going after it and figuring out the best way through to it. I just think it's so inspiring and really motivational to hear the energy you have behind your business. And sharing that with us is such a gift. So thank you so much for doing that. My last question to you is, how can the listener and I support you to get there and keep growing towards your dreams of that big center and everything beyond?
Definitely stay tuned to my Instagram updates about this new membership, because it will be launching really soon. I am working on it. There's a lot of work that's going into it, and all the fine details will definitely be shared on Instagram. So go ahead and you can follow me on learnwithmissspeed.com.au and reach out if we can help you out with learning packs or educational resources, of course, as well as tutoring.
Amazing. I'm going to make sure to have the links to all of that in the show notes, your website, your Insta, which is a lot of fun, and you just show up so beautifully there. So we'll make sure to have the links there. So listener, go get around B, check out what she's doing, give her some love, and just thank you so much for sharing your story with me today. It's been a pleasure to hear it.
Thank you.
One quick thing, if you're hearing this, you've listened all the way through. Hopefully that means you really like this podcast, because it's pretty generous to give up 40 odd minutes of your time for it. If that is the case, please leave the show a star rating and a review. It helps me reach so many more people who might also listen all the way through and get some benefit and some support out of it. Not to mention, it puts a real spring in my step to read them. Thank you for listening to Unemployed and Afraid, the podcast for small business builders with your host, me, Kim Curtin. If you love it, you can say thanks with a star rating and a review. And of course, join the community on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Find us at Unemployed and Afraid wherever you're hanging out, and I'll see you there.